I am a mum from Adelaide who has 3 children, Hudson, Holly and Austin. They all have childhood dementia, which is caused by Niemann-Pick type C1. So I'll start with Hudson. He's my big boy. He is a ninja in training. He's an absolute empathetic, sweet soul.
I love you, Mum.
Then I have Holly. She's very, very much a confident, chatty little girl.
I'm Princess.
Who's got a lot to say, and she's got a very big heart. And then I have Osty, who's my baby, and he's an absolute animal-loving sweetheart, and he's a little cuddle monster. It was basically my only dream in life to become a mum. So I always wanted 4, and then I started having kids, and then I thought, oh, my mum is a strong woman. So I went for a growth scan with Austin at 28 weeks. He had ascites in his tummy, which is basically fluid in his abdomen. He did have to get resuscitated, but he was born perfectly healthy, perfectly beautiful, and basically the only thing they could find was that his liver enzymes were high, and he had a bit of a swollen abdomen. When Osty was 8 months old, they said if it was nothing, it would probably be cured by now. So we're just going to do some more investigation. We're going to run a gene panel just to make sure we can't find anything. They gave me Niemann-Pick type C1 on a piece of paper and said, this is what we found. It's a terminal condition. He will develop appropriately to a certain age, and then he will start to decline. He will start to lose all these different body functions and all this, and take him home. You need to love him. You need to make some memories. And I'm just looking at this perfect baby who's looking at me, and he's smiling and he's engaged, and there was no warning. There was no concerns. I had no concerns at all. He had the little swollen tummy, but otherwise that was all. Basically went to my mum's house and said, in exactly point blank the way I was told, they've just told me this, and he's going to lose this until he has nothing left. It was pretty awful, to be honest. In the beginning, I can remember how much my chest just hurt every day because my heart was so broken. Some of the first signs and symptoms are like ADHD sort of symptoms, very, very short concentration windows, clumsiness, things like that. And obviously having a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old at home, everyone was always falling over or getting hurt. It was a crazy time. But basically I got to the point where I just couldn't worry every day anymore. So I said, can we please blood test them just so I can know for sure that they don't have it, so I can stop freaking out every time something happens. They sat me down and they said, look, we need to just tell you that we've checked the children's blood tests and we've double checked them, and they're both positive for NPC as well. And in that same meeting, they sort of said, this is palliative care, we're introducing you to them, which at the time I thought, that's all they're going to do. They're just going to say, your kids are going to die, here's palliative care. So I was just distraught, and I couldn't even, I couldn't do anything apart from sit there, cry and hold Austin. And went home and called my mum and I said, I have to pick up my kids. They've all got it, Mum. Sorry.
Hold on.
Every time I talk about it, I just can't believe it's real, But there's nothing anyone can say. There's nothing anyone can do. It's done. And you just want someone to turn around and say, we got it wrong. It's not happening. It's not true. There's been a mistake, but nobody can. It's just really, it was eye-opening, I suppose, to have a problem that a doctor can't fix. But then at the same time, I had these 3 perfectly healthy kids running amok, still being naughty, still fighting, still refusing to eat them. It was so surreal. Obviously, it's completely broken my heart. It's broken my family's hearts. It means my parents watch their baby suffer because of my babies. It's given me a lot of guilt because I've given them these genes and I picked their father and things like that. It means I'm the only one of my real siblings that has had children so far, because that's a scary thing for everybody now. It means they're very spoiled and they're very loved, and I try my very best to give them everything I can. If they haven't done it, I'm signing them up for it. They each do 4 therapies. They have doctor's appointments. They have, different sorts of tests that they need. We spend at least one day a fortnight at the hospital. It means I don't have time to work. I can't get a job. It's very almost isolating, because it's hard to be, I don't have a job to go to and escape, or have adult conversations, or even going out in the community is a little bit tricky, because the kids, they have trouble concentrating, or they might run across the road, and I'm outnumbered. So my kids are still quite able, which I have to be grateful for. At the moment, they don't know that life is different for them than anyone else, because they don't know that not everybody goes to the hospital, or has multiple therapies a week or anything like that. All the children struggle with fine motor things. Writing, for example, things that they really try and concentrate their hands on, are quite tricky. They all have very short attention spans. Outwardly, they look like completely normal kids. It's chaos because they're all such, they're impulsive, they're feet first kind of kids, which all kids are, of course, but it's just probably a little bit more extreme. I think Holly's more aware that it's different for her than other people. You can ask Hudson, what's this letter, and he will not tell you. He'll be like, I don't know, bye. Holly, on the other hand, has always wanted to read and write, and she's been able to write her name since she was 3.5. Girls say things to her, like, you're really bad at colouring in, and now that she's started to not like school, she knows. She says, it's tricky for me, it's harder for me. My kids, I don't know how to explain it, but they do run amok wherever we are. They're comfortable at the hospital, they're comfortable in the shops to start wrestling, or just run away from me, or I very much have to be like, stop there, wait for me, stop at the road, don't and all parents do that, of course, but it's a little bit more extreme, I guess, in my case, because I have to sort of keep them safe, because they might not keep themselves safe. So the main thing that I always think is, I wish people knew that they can't help it. That's actually, it's actually their brain that's making them do that. And especially, my Holly, she's so emotional, and people go, oh my God, you need a nap or whatever. And I'm like, she just can't help it, That's what I wish people knew a little bit more. If you looked at my kids, they outwardly look fine. So a lot of the time I get told, oh, they're fine, but they're not fine. The school and the support the school can offer is very much so that they can catch the kids up, which is not the goal for my children. The goal is like the maintenance and the social and the well-being. There's been no clear path for me to follow to get the assistance that my kids need. I've really had to sort of almost learn through Hudson, unfortunately, and then go from there, and then still have to advocate for Holly to get the same support. I thought that you'd sort of say, this child has this, and they would say, well, these are your options, or this is what you can do, or this is what you can apply for, but it's not like that. They're sort of like, well, what do you want us to do? And I'm like, how do I know, It was huge. I mean, I didn't want to speak about it, because I felt like every time I said it out loud, it was a little bit more true. And almost, I guess it sounds stupid, but it was almost embarrassing in a way that, that's what's happened. Suddenly you're in this world, where I've got 3 terminally ill children. So if I go on a play date with my friends and they're like, oh God, my baby wouldn't sleep, or my baby didn't eat its peas, and it's just like, you just feel so far removed from everybody. And I guess if I can share a little bit about our story, and it stops somebody from feeling the way that I felt in the beginning, or it doesn't, someone else with their own isolation, then it makes a difference. An end to childhood dementia would mean that my children wouldn't have to suffer. It would mean that they wouldn't lose all of their abilities. It would mean they wouldn't lose each other and I wouldn't lose them. It would mean one day maybe I could have grandkids. Hold on. Time is so precious and the time for change is now.